Now let's talk about the switch statement in C++. So far we've seen conditional branching using the if-else statements, right? This gives us binary selection. Now, a switch statement allows us to do multi-way branches, right? With as many branches as you would like to express that are controlled through a controlling expression. So let's look at the format of a switch statement. So a switch statement looks like the following. Now, right away, again, you see a couple of keywords: switch, case, default are new, reserved, or keywords, right? There is, right after the switch, just like an if, there is a controlling expression uh, within parentheses. Now, this is not a Boolean expression. It is an arbitrary expression that evaluates to some literal. The literal could be a Boolean, it could be an integer, or whatever you have, right? Now, the execution proceeds as following. First, the controlling expression is evaluated, and it evaluates to some literal. Then you have a bunch of case statements, and it finds the matching case statements that has that literal next to it. The statements following that matching case statements are executed till you see a break. And once you see a break, you're done, you pop out, right? If you find no matching case statement, then you go to the default one here and you execute statements that are after the default, and you keep on doing that till you hit a break, and then you pop out. A couple of things to note here is the use of the colon here after the case and default, right? And That is pretty much the format. Note that there aren't blocks like if else. They're basically a bunch of statements that are executed till you hit the a break statement. Now, break isn't is a special kind of statement that pops you out of the whole switch construct. So let's actually look at this in more detail with an actual example. Now, one thing I should say is that default is optional, so you can leave it out if you want. So here's some real code. Here, what I have is a switch statements. Before that, I have declared a character um, called grade, which I've initialized to b. And then you have a switch statement, and the controlling expression is basically just that variable name. So this variable name is going to evaluate to some character, literal A, B, C, whatever you have, and then have a bunch of collection of case clauses followed by a default. Now, what am I doing in each one? If I notice the grade evaluates to A, I say excellent. B, I say good. C, I print fair effort. If I don't get a matching one, I print fail, right? So in this particular case, if I were to evaluate this, I should get a B. So let's actually, kind of try this out in the IDE. That might be kind of fun. So I'm going to copy it, and then I'll switch over to the IDE. Let's go and replace the code that's there with this. Here I have my code. Let's actually run it and make sure that actually prints out good. We can go and change the code to like F or something and see what happens. It should print fail, right? Okay, so now let's go back, right? So now let's talk about the break statement, which is interesting, right? So as we had said, once you find a matching case, you keep on executing these statements till you hit a break, right? Now, do you really need that break? So let's try out this same example by getting rid of the break statement. Let's see like what exactly happens. What is the role of a break? So I'm going to just take that and I am going to go back to my IDE and paste that piece of code. Same code without the break statements. Now I have a B, right? It's going to go into this and then execute. And let's see what happens. Now, what you see here is very interesting. What you see here, it's printing good, fair effort and fail. Now, why is it doing that? So let's go to that piece of code. So grade evaluates to B, right? So it's going to go to that clause. I'm actually going to maybe make this smaller so we can see it evaluates to B. It's going to execute this statement here, right? And the semantics of the meaning of a switch statement, the way it executes is that, after the case, the matching case, it executes, keeps on executing statements till it hits a break. Now it doesn't find a break there, so it just goes on to the next statement and prints fair effort. Doesn't find a break, it keeps on going all the way to the end, and then it prints this. So that's why you see it printing good, fair effort, and fail. So it's important to put break statements after each clause. If that's kind of how you want to what the meaning of your program calls for. Going back. So again, you have to kind of be careful with the use of break, right? So this is a switch statement for doing multi-way branching. The switch statements are particularly useful for doing things like menus. If you're presenting a menu of things in your program, likely you want to use a switch statement.